As the doors to the guild burst open, Yuji stormed inside, breathing hard. Report, a monster swarm has appeared. The entire guild hall fell silent. Adventurers turned toward him instantly. At the center of the room, the branch manager and several veteran adventurers were gathered around a large map table, already discussing emergency plans. The branch manager stared at Yuji. Are you certain? Yuji nodded immediately. The slimes confirmed it. The room tensed. The branch manager stepped forward. How many? Yuji's expression grew serious. I can't calculate the exact total yet, but from the areas the slimes observed, there are at least 10,000 monsters. The entire guild froze, and in the worst case, Yuji continued, there could be several tens of thousands. One adventurer nearly dropped his weapon. 10,000. Another clenched his fists. Even if every nearby town sent reinforcements, that still wouldn't be enough. The branch manager quickly looked back at Yuji. Do you know where they're heading? Yuji pointed toward the map. They haven't fully moved yet, but they were spotted here. He moved a marker, and here's another marker, and around this area too. The branch manager cut him off, his voice grim. Then all we can do now is pray they don't choose this town. Yuji stared at him, and if they do. The branch manager lowered his eyes. We evacuate while protecting the townspeople. The room went silent. Even if we can't save everyone, he continued, those with enough stamina might survive. Staying here would only guarantee death. Yuji thought quietly to himself, so the weak would be abandoned. But even then, this may still be their best option. The branch manager looked back at him. Thank you for the information, Yuji. Continue monitoring them. Yuji nodded, understood. I'll report again if they move. But before another word could be spoken, one of the slimes contacted him through tame communication. Yuji, the monsters started moving. Another slime's voice followed immediately. They're moving here too. Then another, and here. More voices echoed in Yuji's mind, one after another. They're all moving. Yuji's eyes widened. So which town are they heading toward? The slimes answered together in perfect synchronization. The town where you are. The room suddenly felt colder. All across the forest, tens of thousands of monsters had begun marching. Trees shattered. The ground trembled. Entire sections of the forest were being crushed beneath the advancing swarm. Yuji turned toward the branch manager instantly. The monsters are moving. The branch manager's face turned pale. Which town and how many? Yuji looked directly at him. All the monsters observed by the slimes are heading here. He paused. At minimum, over 10,000 monsters are coming to this town. The branch manager tried to respond. Yuji, I don't doubt your report, but... Suddenly, another adventurer burst through the door. This is bad. Everyone turned. We received blue and yellow smoke signals from 3 separate locations. Yuji blinked. Blue and yellow smoke signals. The branch manager clenched his fists tightly. Blue means the monsters are heading for this town. His expression darkened, and yellow means the swarm exceeds 3,000 monsters. The room erupted into chaos. The branch manager slammed his fist onto the table. Attention, all adventurers. Every adventurer snapped their focus toward him instantly. His voice thundered through the guild. We are abandoning the town. The room exploded with outrage. A defensive battle is impossible. One adventurer shouted back immediately. Cut the crap, we're not abandoning this town. Another stepped forward. I didn't become an adventurer just to run away. That's right. The branch manager roared back. There is no way to defend against over 10,000 monsters. He pointed toward the gates. The only resistance we can offer is ensuring at least someone survives. The guild erupted into heated arguments, but Yuji simply stood there silently, watching them, then slowly. He smiled. No one wants to run, even knowing they could die. They still choose to fight, so this is an adventurer's pride. Yuji quietly contacted Proud Wolf. How long until the monsters arrive? Proud Wolf responded instantly, 10 minutes. Yuji's thoughts accelerated. Deploying the slimes around town would take 20 minutes. The monsters would arrive in 15 at most. We're already behind. We need time. Suddenly, Yuji stepped forward. I have an idea. The room fell silent again. The branch manager stared at him. you think there's a way to save the town. Yuji answered honestly, I've never tried this before. The branch manager narrowed his eyes. What's your plan? Yuji reached into a slime storage, then pulled out a massive dragon bone. The entire room gasped. That's a dragon bone, the branch manager shouted. Yuji nodded calmly. Tamers have an interesting skill. He lifted the bone. With this, I can create a dragon bone flame. One adventurer stared in disbelief. A dragon flame. Yuji continued. It might be enough to incinerate even 10,000 monsters. The room instantly exploded into doubt. Tamers can do something like that. Yuji sighed internally. Of course they wouldn't believe me. Then suddenly, a familiar voice spoke up. Is there anything I can help with, Yuji? Yuji looked over. It was Gale, the large adventurer he met when he first arrived in town. Another adventurer looked at him in disbelief. Gale, you actually believe him? Gale nodded immediately. Yeah. He pointed toward Yuji. The other day, we were saved by slimes using magic. The room fell silent. If slimes can spit fire, Gale continued, then a dragon bone breathing flames isn't impossible either. Then he looked directly at Yuji. I believe you. One by one, the other adventurers slowly nodded. Besides, there's no other choice. We either believe him or we die. Yuji looked around the room, then bowed his head slightly. Thank you. He raised his eyes again. The monsters will reach town in about 10 minutes. He tightened his grip on the dragon bone. If you can hold them off for 15. I'll prepare everything. Every adventurer shouted together, Roger. The entire guild exploded into motion. Move. Get to the gates. Bring every weapon. Take at least one monster down with you. The receptionist rushed forward carrying boxes of medicine. Don't forget the healing supplies. The branch manager nodded. Our stock is full thanks to Yuji. He turned toward the adventurers. Take as much as you need. Then suddenly, a massive wolf sprinted past the guild entrance. Several adventurers drew their weapons instantly. A monster. Wait, it has a collar. It's tamed. Dozens of slimes bounced behind Proud Wolf. We're here, we're here. Yuji stared in surprise. Proud Wolf brought back even more slimes than expected. With this many, I can cover the entire town. Yuji looked toward Proud Wolf. Thanks. Proud Wolf lowered his head proudly. Sorry for the delay. Yuji immediately issued orders. Slimes, deploy in a circle around the town. The slimes bounced instantly into motion. We're going. We'll hurry. Yuji continued. We're putting up a barrier. Once I give the signal, let the adventurers retreat back inside. The adventurers exchanged nervous looks. 15 minutes. We just have to survive 15 minutes. Then, the monsters arrived. The earth shook violently. Trees exploded apart as countless beasts poured from the forest like a black tidal wave. There they are. Charge! The adventurers rushed forward. Gale swung his sword with full force. Clang, a bladed monster blocked the strike with the razor-sharp weapons growing from its arms. Gale roared and shattered through its guard. Slash, the monster split apart. I won't let you through. But suddenly, a massive golem monster appeared from the side and slammed Gale across the battlefield before the creature could finish him. A flash of steel sliced it clean in half. The examiner landed beside Gale. Watch your back. He tossed him a healing potion. Focus on defense, preserve your strength. Gale caught it, I know. Meanwhile, Yuji remained behind the town wall. His eyes rapidly scanned the magic creation skill, windows floating before him. I need a spell that won't overload the barrier. Hellfire of Demise is too powerful if the barrier breaks. The town is finished, then suddenly, an idea struck him. Wait. Magic reflection. Games always have spells that reflect magic. Yuji immediately began restructuring spells. Magic reflecting barrier. He fired a fireball toward a small test barrier. The fireball vanished instantly upon contact. Yuji blinked. It absorbed it. Meanwhile outside, The adventurers were being overwhelmed. Gale gritted his teeth. How many minutes has it been? The examiner shouted toward town. Yuji, are you ready yet? Instantly. Fireballs rained from the sky. Boom, boom, boom. Entire waves of monsters exploded apart. Magic, Gale shouted. The examiner looked relieved. Thanks, Yuji. Yuji stared at the results carefully, so it transferred the magic instead of reflecting it. But the result is usable. That means. The slimes suddenly contacted him. Yuji, we're ready. Yuji took a deep breath. This is it. The examiner turned toward the battlefield. Everyone retreat back into town. The adventurers immediately began falling back toward the gates. Yuji raised both hands. Magic transfer. Anti-physical barrier. Magic reflection. Magic transfer barrier. A colossal magical barrier erupted around the entire town. The sky itself glowed blue. The examiner stared upward in disbelief. A barrier covering the whole town. The monsters slammed against it immediately. Thud, thud, thud. Thousands of monsters surrounded the barrier from every direction, clawing and smashing against it like a living ocean. Even the slimes looked nervous. Yuji watched carefully. The barrier deployed successfully. Now, will the transfer system hold? He clenched his fist. There's no more time. Yuji raised the dragon bone, then spoke the spell. Incinerate them all. Hellfire of demise.